Menage, Penetrated. Written by Kathleen Hope. Narrated by Jodi Hockinson. Chapter 1. First Blush. I looked at the library around me and smiled. I had finally landed the job I had wanted, one I imagined I would probably have for some time. I had just graduated a few months ago from college, and while all of my other friends were struggling, limping through internships at best, or not doing anything even remotely related to their major at worst, I was in my career already, at age 24. It was glorious. This was my first week at Williams Public Library, a small library outside that wasn't really the city's public library. Rather, it was a smaller branch that had been placed on the outskirts of town to make books more accessible to groups of more people. I was training this week and next, then, after that, I would be on my own. I smiled as Aspen walked into the office with a stack of books in her hand. She was one of the colleagues that was my age. Ian was the other. There was one other woman, Ruth, who was technically my supervisor. She was actually what I had imagined an old librarian to be like. She was in her 60s at least, and Aspen, Ian, and I probably drove her absolutely crazy. Aspen was 26, as was Ian. On my first day, 3 days ago, I had immediately pegged Aspen as someone I wanted to be friends with. She was gorgeous. She had long, light brown hair, perfect teeth hiding behind full, beautiful lips, and it was obvious that she worked out. Ruth was technically my trainer, but Aspen had been showing me the ropes since I first got there, including how to manage to avoid pissing off Ruth as much as possible. "Hey," I said, smiling at Aspen. "Hey, Lorianne," she said back, setting the stacks of books on the desk. "How's training going today?" I rolled my eyes. "You know exactly how it's going," I said. She laughed, and I shook my head. "Why can't you train me?" I asked. "You've been here for more than a year. You have to know everything that's going on." "If only," she said. "I could totally use the money, but Ruth insists on doing all of the training. She always thinks she's going to outlast us all here anyway. She says it's for consistency, but I think it's for her own job security. With you here, there are 3 of us, and it's doubtful we really need more than 3 full-time people in this branch. But," she sighed, "whatever." She sat down at the desk and began to list the new books in the inventory program on our computer. "I like your shirt," I said, noticing that the colors of the slightly sheer top she was wearing complemented her hair and made the highlights stand out even more. "Do you?" she asked, turning back toward me. Because I wasn't sure. I almost didn't buy it. Then I decided what the hell. It was a cute shirt. "Totally," I said approvingly. "It's really flattering on you." "Are you ladies done chatting and ready to get back to work?" Ruth asked, walking into the room. Without a word, Aspen turned back to the stack of books she was working on, and I stood up. "How was your lunch break?" I asked, trying hard to be friendly. Ruth was tall, nearly 5'10", and her hair was pulled back into a severe bun that was mostly blonde, but also had shades of gray poking through, especially at her hairline. She wore glasses, and, of course, she had them on a chain around her neck at the moment. She was wearing what I had always thought of as old lady clothes, because it was my grandma's uniform, elastic band gray slacks with a white cotton shirt, and a cardigan sweater in a slightly different shade than the pants. She wore no jewelry, but she did have a watch on her wrist. "It was just fine. Did you get the list of things I left for you finished?" "I did," I said, again trying to be incredibly friendly and nice. I had learned, especially dealing with my college professors, that a person could get very far in life by being both quiet and polite. I never volunteered any information that Ruth didn't ask for. It meant that she asked me a lot more questions, but it also meant that I didn't annoy her. At least, I hope so. As for her list had annoyed me. I had majored in library science and was qualified to do everything that she could do once I was properly trained. Her list of things to do had included making a bulletin board for the upcoming Children's Reading Month, cleaning the bathrooms, and stamping upcoming due date slips. In short, busy work. "Well, I'll have to check your work, of course." I heard Aspen snicker, and I knew exactly what she was thinking. How exactly Ruth
Sample complete. Ready to continue?